Hello, Booktube, and welcome back. Well, folks, I'm going to do another one of my reading wrap ups for May to June 2026. The months are going by too quickly this year, and last month's reading was a bit of an average reading month for me. I usually read between 12 and 14 books. My legs are so itchy. I took the dog for a walk before and he dragged me into nettles. So my legs are like, ah, scratch me. uh, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, reading wrap up. So last month I did 12 books and a good chunk of them were rereads. So without any further ado, let's talk about the books that I read last month and see what I thought of them. So I'll just crack on with the rereads of last month. If you've watched any of these this year, you know I'm rereading the Discworld series. And I'm up to book 6, which is Weird Sisters. So this is focusing on the witches in Discworld series. You got Granny, you got Nanny Og, and I always get mixed up between Magrat and Agnes. I think it's Magrat at this point. And it's all about the king's been assassinated in his castle. The royal heir has been hidden. And it's all about this like duke who's like the evil person who's behind his killing. It's kind of like a Macbeth kind of a story of, you know, he starts suffering from guilt and he goes crazy. Well, and his Lady Macbeth is like pulling the strings behind. And it's up to the sisters, the weird sisters of the witches, to make sure the royal heir is fine and dandy-o. He joins like a theatre company, or maybe the king's heir doesn't want to become king. Maybe I'm not going to spoil the end to you. And maybe there's another character within this story who becomes heir. But yeah, that's the kind of premise behind this book. I love the Witch series. I love all of this world. Not all of it, but don't like unseen academicals. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get to it when I get to it. But Witches is a good... I think this is Equal Rights, which was one of the earlier books which had some of the witches in it. But the earlier Discworld books is pure parody. Now we're getting on towards satire and clever way of writing. It's witty, and I love the witches. I love the the conversations that Nanny and Granny always get into. Nanny's kind of like a flamboyant kind of a character, and Granny's quite conservative. So they're like back and forth are quite funny. And yeah, it's got all the hallmarks of classic Terry Pratchett. So that's Weird Sisters. That's a thumbs up for me. It's a good Discworld book. The second reread that I did, and again, if you've been watching these series this year, you know I'm rereading the Realm of the Elderling series. Big fan of Robin Hobb. You can nearly see the books up there. So I'm currently on book 2 of the Live Ship Traders trilogy. The Live Ship Traders is probably my favourite of the entire series. I think there's 15 or 16 books so far. I don't know whether she's going to write any more of them. So this is the best trilogy, or the best part of the series. And now, again, it's the middle part of the book. It's hard not to spoil things for you. So the mad ship was referring to the ship Paragon. There's certain trader ships that can talk, and the mad ship is called Paragon, and he's got like a split personality, and it's up to a bunch of people to get on this ship and rescue another live ship that's been captured by the evil Captain Kennett, who is a main character in this series as well. So the book is basically split up into 3 perspectives. One is Captain Kennett. After the first book, he's captured that live ship, and he's kept some of the people that he captured on board. And one of them is Winthrop, who is his family owned a live ship. Well, previously did before Captain Kennett nicked it. And his relationship also with Etta, who is Captain Kennett's not his wife but his partner, who it's not that's going great, but Kennett doesn't treat her good at all. So that's one part of the story. The second part, as I said, is the mad ship, the Paragon, who's going out there now to try and take back the live ship Vivacia from Captain Kennett. And the third part is actually just focusing on the actual city itself, where the live ships like trade out of Bingtown, as they're preparing for absolute anarchy to happen. That's my favourite part in this book. It's Veronica. It's like she's like the matriarch of the family business, and her sister Kefria. And one of the most interesting ones as well is her granddaughter Mulder, who goes through a massive character change throughout this trilogy. I love all Robin Hobb books. I do, all of them. And Live Ship Traders is chef's kiss to me. I think Live Ship Traders is fantastic. Like with all Robin Hobb books, well, the ones from the Realm of the Elderling series, you're not going to get those massive battles. I mean, battles do occur, but nothing like you'll see in a grander scale, like a Lord of the Rings or anything like that. Everything's quite character based in the Realm of the Elderling series, and this Live Ship Trader series, as I said, it's chef's kiss. I love the characters. I love the story. It's proper good stuff, and that's why I'm rereading it now. So that's the second of me rereads. The third of me reread. I'm 6 minutes. I'm only in my third book. If you watched any of these videos this year, you know that I'm rereading. They're up there. The Expanse. Expanse is a massive space opera kind of a space battling sci-fi series. I've bought the 9th book that I've not read yet, and I'm not the sort of person who goes to like a Wikipedia page and brushes up on what's happened, like a refresher. I'm the sort of person who goes back and rereads the whole series. So I'm on book 5 at the moment. I've just finished book 5, and this is Nemesis Games. You always get to like part in like a series, don't you, where all the main cast or the Scooby Gang separates, and this is what this book is about here. They separate out their own little adventures. You've got Alex who goes away and tries to find his family again, and runs into an old character because his family are not interested in him. Runs into an old character called Bobby, and they have their own adventure. And then there's also Amos, who's gone to Amos is a bit of a killer, and he goes to like he goes into full savior, trying to save people mood, because at this point now Earth gets attacked by I think his name's Mark. I can't remember, but Mark is the main character's. Are they married at this point? Main character's, they're not married, main character's girlfriend's ex, and he's a complete psycho, and he basically attacks Earth and Mars at the same time with his proto-molecule, but it's in the previous books. And I love The Expanse. It's a great space battling, space adventure kind of books with really likable characters. And this one, book 5, is probably in the top 2 books of the series. It's it's got a tight narrative, and you go straight through, you don't put down. It's really good. So that's the third of my rereads, and this is I don't know why I picked this one up. I've got it somewhere. I don't know where. It's up there. I don't know if you can really see it. It's behind Ice and Fire here. It's little slim here. This is another Bill Bryson book. This is The Road to Little Dribbling. This is basically a sequel to Notes on a Small Island. This is his adventures around the UK. The first one he wrote back in the 90s, I believe. One of my favourite non-fiction books of all time. I think it's hilarious. And this is his follow-up of going to new places in the UK and maybe some old ground that he covers in the previous book. You don't know who Bill Bryson is. He's a very popular non-fiction writer who is a bit of a curmudgeon, but he's witty and he's dead sarcastic all the way through the book. This is not my favourite of the Bill Brysons. It's probably one of my least two favourite Bill Bryson books. I think his curmudgeonness goes into the realms of miserable in this one a little bit too much for me. But still, it's an entertaining read. You will get that those kind of laughs when you're reading through this book. It's like an old man complains at the world way of writing this book. But yeah, you travel some interesting places in the UK, and it's also about the people that he meets in certain cities or towns that he goes through as well. A lot of the book is actually focused down south. I think there's only one chapter on Wales and one chapter on Scotland. The majority of it is in England. So those are the 4 rereads that I've done. I've got 8 books and I'm on 11 minutes. So let's fly through this because I have no idea how much space I've got on my phone. So my new books, wow. This is 12 Months by Jim Butcher. To me, I read this months and months and months ago. 12 Months by Jim Butcher. This is another of the Dresden Files books. This is a fantasy series. It's basically like a wizard based out of Chicago. I think this is book 17 or 18. It's one of them. And this is pretty much in the previous book. I guess big battles had happened in Chicago, and all this was basically now the come down of that. So the story is quite smaller, but I still think it's. Again, you've heard me say this. I love me some Dresden Files. Some of the earlier books are a bit off base sometimes, but when it gets into a swing, Jim Butcher, the Dresden Files is really good. So this one, much more smaller scale to the previous book. It's more character based than the previous ones, and it's all about family, really. This one, after the events of the previous one, he's trying to save his brother's his life, and he's now betrothed. So there's loads of things happening in his life, and he's also absolutely riddled with grief from the previous volumes. So very character driven, less big than the previous novels, but again, excellent Dresden book. I've not picked up any of the Dresden Files. I strongly recommend you read Dresden. Next one is Rivertown. So this is non-fiction. This is 2 years on the Yangtze. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's a river in China. And this is by Peter Hessler. This is an American on the US, the Peace Corps. He goes to China for a couple of years, teaching English and traveling the place. Fantastic little travelogue memoir of someone who's used to how things work so completely differently, and how he tries to settle in and come to terms with the difference between the United States and China, and how people act very differently as well. An immensely readable memoir, and I love travelogues anyway. And I've just received a flash. I don't know how much space I've got left. I might get cancelled in a minute. But this is a great little travelogue memoir of somebody. I think he wrote this in the noughties, like 2002, 2003. So it's 20 years old now. So China's changed quite considerably in the past 20 years. And so he's going through like small little villages, and just talking to different people, and sometimes absolutely getting him into some like really like we need to get out of this situation right now. But yeah, immensely readable, good little memoir. The next one is another non-fiction. This is Press Reset: Ruin and Recovery in the Video Game Industry. This is by Jason. Is it Jason or David? I forgot to put the author's name. The one or the other, Shearer, I think his name is. I forgot to put his name down. I've read all his books now. He's done 3. His most recent one was Play Nice, which was the history of Blizzard Entertainment, the guys who created World of Warcraft and Diablo. And his first one was 10 games 10 chapters, and the development of those 10 games. You know, and the likes of Shovel Knight is in there, Destiny's in there. If you know your games, you know what I'm talking about. But this one, Press Reset, is not really about video game development. This is about the people who make the video games themselves. So again, more personable level, and you just, again, it's absolutely hammered home of how these people are completely mistreated. You might just go into the office one day and told to get out, you're fired, for no reason at all. And again, with all those books, you'll notice the absolute incompetence of some of the higher ups, especially the corporate greed that rings through all of his three books, and especially this one. He's a journalist, he's a game journalist, so he knows what he's talking about, and he interviews quite a lot of people who had worked in, you know, different developments in different gaming companies, to gain their perspectives on the sheer stress that these people can work horrendous hours every week for months to try and get a game to the consumer. And yeah, it's again, it's all about the people behind the games, and the sacrifices they've got to make with the family time and all that, and the complete mismanagement and the mistreatment. But sometimes the camaraderie between some of the people that they work with in the team, they get quite close. They almost become like family for all the hours they're pouring into the job. But yeah, if you're interested in the video game industry, pick up Press Reset. Maybe it'll put you off ever going in it. So, good book. Well done. Journalistic look at a person's life in the video game industry. The next book is another non-fiction. This is The Real North Korea, Life and Politics in the Failed Utopia. This is by Andrei Lankov. Now, this, again, it's a thin book. I think it's like 300 pages. It's like a quick history of North Korea from the time the communists fought back against, well, they got the country, didn't they? It follows the lineage of the Kim family through the different generations, and how each figurehead kind of ruled almost differently, but they stole the people underneath each of the Kim, Sun, Il, and now Un, and how they massed power around them, and how sometimes, even though they go from one to the other, the system never collapses because it's the same people in different situations. And it goes, what you expect in a North Korean history. It doesn't go that much in depth, unfortunately. This is pretty much a short history of North Korea. You'll pretty much fly through it if you enter into your North Korea history. But again, with all these things, do you know what, I'm interested in this part here, so let's find books about that part. You'll get that from this book. I only wish there was a little bit more meat to the bone, So that's The Real North Korea. The next one, my phone just flashed again. The next one is The Fall of the Roman Empire. This is by Peter Heather. So this is pretty much looking at, I think it's between 300 AD to 550 AD. It's that period of, so it's not really talking about the Republic or the Empire. It's focusing on East and West Rome, and principally how Rome collapsed through all the outer four, the political corruption, the uselessness of the system, and the Goths completely taking territory from the West, and then how Attila and the Huns completely just finished them off completely. So that's where this is really focusing in on. It's the collapse of the West. And I know that the Eastern Roman Empire is, it technically is still Rome. They called themselves Romans, but it doesn't really talk about the fall of the East Roman Empire, because that didn't happen until another 1,000 years in the future. I think when did the Ottomans take Constantinople? Is that about 1,400, 1,500? It's around there. So he doesn't really get into the collapse of the Eastern Roman Empire. It's all about, the fall of what we can, Rome and all that. I liked it. I thought it could have been better. Sometimes our non-fiction has got to let you breathe, I find. But a lot of these are like, that's what I found. Like, another name, oh, another place. I like a bit of non-fiction that can make you breathe, so you can, you can take in the information. So it was a bit tough on that account. But if you're interested in how Rome and the Western Roman Empire fell, you'll get it from this book. And the epilogue, is basically a rundown of the bullet points of what his thesis, what he's telling you. It's well worth picking up just for that, because X, Y, and Z, that's how Rome fell. So, all right, history book on Rome. Let's jump to the next one. This is The Norman Conquest by Mark Morris. Mark Morris is he's a really good writer about that kind of time history, like medieval times. He's come up with a couple of books regarding the old kings of England. I think he did. He either did Edward I or Edward III. He did Edward I. The book's right there. Really good, really interesting writer. The Norman Conquest, obviously, is when William the Conqueror came over to England and beat the Anglo-Saxons after the Anglo-Saxons just fought off the Vikings. We know what you were doing there. And the book's trying to get across to you, they were all family anyway, the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons and, the Normans, they were all related to each other, and when Edward the Confessor died, there's good, written history that he actually left the crown because he never had any kids to William the Conqueror, but it was took up by his brother-in-law who kind of snatched the crown and I'm the king now. And it's the build-up of the Norman Conquest of William going round, northern France, and I said that very posh, didn't I? Northern France, and then his eventual conquest, and then trying to keep England from rioting, and all the way up to the succession of William II. This is a great recount of the Norman Conquest. He's a great author. You don't get bogged down like you did with, what I said about the Roman Empire book. You don't get bogged down. You can really layman's terms can tell you how the Norman Conquest happened. Very interesting. He makes the narrative really stand out. It's really good. Let's jump on to second to last. Come on, phone. Last, come on. This is Them. This is Adventures with Extremists. This is by John Ronson. If you don't know who John Ronson is, he's kind of like a Louis Theroux kind of a character. If you don't know who Louis Theroux is, I can't help you. What Louis Theroux and John Ronson like to do, as what the book title says, they like to go and spend a day with maybe members of the KKK, really strongly anti-Semitic people who are completely against, any kind of LGBTQ plus rights, any kind of like really strong misogynist kind of people, really like some of them horrendous people, right? So this is John Ronson going around, basically in America, and, because he's Jewish as well, and, trying to understand and talk to members of the KKK, some of the people who say, well, we're the nice people from the KKK, rather than those Aryan people over there. they're horrible, they're dangerous, but we, the KKK, we're great. And he goes, he meets with Alex Jones as well, the crazy conspiracist guy, and they go to, I can't remember what the actual event is, but it's when like super rich go and burning our big wooden owl, and they have like some sort of ceremony. It's rich people being rich, it's stupid stuff. But they sneak into the complex and like film like loads of like rich people burning this big owl effigy. And it's all just really talking to some like really out there kind of characters, and I don't think it's as good as some of his other books. I like The Psychopath Test by John Ronson. Really, that's when he goes to talk to psychopaths, killers, all that kind of stuff. But this one, it just missed the mark with me a bit, to be honest with you. To the point where it got a bit samey because, he's just talking to the same people over and over and over again. But yeah, if you're interested in that, that kind of like Louis Theroux, John Ronson, they're going really out of the comfort zone and into some situations where it's a bit ropey. Just interview and talk to these people behind these movements. If you're interested in that kind of thing, pick up them Adventures with Extremists. And the last one, come on, phone. This is The Last Action Heroes. This is the triumphs, flops, and feuds of Hollywood's Kings of Carnage. This is by Nick D. Semlin. Nick's done a previous book as well where he focused on characters from the 80s, comedy characters from the 80s, which I've not read, but it's supposed to be good. So this is just focusing on that kind of like 1980s action film, on the actors behind those kind of films. So, and each chapter's like split into like rivalries. So you had like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but by the way, out of them two, I'm on Arnie's side all the way. There's egos abroad with this. There's egos everywhere, yeah. But Arnold's the kind of guy where you get what you get from him. He's not a liar, and he's not afraid to make himself look bad or weak or make a joke of himself, basically, because he did comedies and all that in the 90s, didn't he? But Sylvester Stallone, dead insecure, will fire people for no reason, so he was kind of like sly. So you had Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you had Jackie Chan and Chuck Norris. They had both dealings with Bruce Lee. Chuck Norris was in that film, wasn't he, with Bruce Lee, and Jackie Chan worked with Bruce Lee. And you had Bruce Willis and Dolph Lundgren. And who were the other two? Oh, John-Claude Van Mr. Dam. And I could read a 1,000-page biography about this character because I think he's fascinating, although a scumbag. Steven Seagal or Seagal, wherever you want to call him. So yeah, this is like a narrative of those characters and how they competed for work and what they did to the bodies to attain the physiques that they did. It starts off with Rocky in the late 70s, and it pretty much peters off in the 90s when that like obsession with action movies kind of faded and they had to go and find other jobs elsewhere. And it talks about drug use and what they were like to work with. He interviews a lot of people who have worked with these characters before. But yeah, he's done a fantastic job here. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really, really good. And I best cut off there before I get cut off. And those are the 12 books I read last month. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, Booktube.